Mach 1, the speed of sound principle, connects back in to the 3-for-1 principle. And how do we help to get 3 hours back for every hour we put into something? It was interesting, after I had made my discovery of the 3-for-1 principle, I was explaining it to a good friend of mine, and he was an ex-fighter pilot. And after I explained to him what happened, he said, "Wow." He said, "Yeah, I get that. I understand that there's a science behind it. Are you familiar with the Mach 1 principle?" And I said, "No, I'm not, Stan." I said, "What is that?" And he said, "You know, Chuck Yeager, he's the first human being that broke the speed of sound." And I said, "Yeah, I remember that." And he said, "Do you know the story behind it?" And I said, "You know, I really don't." He said, "You know, there were a lot of other fighter pilots that had the same training, the same equipment, the same everything, but they did not follow through in being able to, as soon as they started getting close to the speed of sound, breaking that, their plane started to shake." And they got kind of scared because nobody had ever done that before. And they're like, if it's shaking this much prior to breaking the speed of sound, well, what's going to happen afterwards? Afterwards we may disintegrate. So they backed it away. But he trusted the system, the science, the integrity of the system, as Tom Kuntz would refer to it. There's a system, there's a process, and we need to trust the integrity of the system. He did that. And as soon as he broke the sound barrier, an interesting thing happened. Everything kind of smoothed out. And my friend Stan said, "Do you know why that happened?" I said, I have no idea." He said, "It's interesting because right before you break the sound barrier, right before you have the most resistance, and at the tip of the airplane is where all the resistance is. But when you break the sound barrier, all the resistance is actually after the airplane, so you can actually go faster. There's actually less resistance, and there's less fuel." And I thought, now isn't that interesting? When I started doing more, not less, when I started taking on the mindset that I'm going to do everything, I broke the sound barrier. And things became easier because my mindset was totally different. And so if your life, if your business is kind of shaky, if your relationships are kind of shaky and you're like, I don't know, there's a possibility you're just about ready to break through to a new dimension. And when you do, everything's going to smooth out and the ride's going to be very amazing. So it's worth it. Go after it. Don't be fearful when there's some shaking. Let's punch through it and make some things happen together.